Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to kind of do a recap of the 25 Middle Eastern fragrances that we just recently talked about, Val and I wanted to get a little bit more in depth about my favorites. So there's a lot of really amazing fragrances, but there's some that just really stood out and you guys are kind of wondering about them. There's been a lot of questions, so I thought rather than just answer them all individually in the comments, I would try to answer quite a few of them just in talking about them. So I'm going to do that. If you haven't subscribed, hit that button, join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. Now, before I start, I just want to mention, I just got this little package from this awesome small business in the States called Cut the Crap Organics. Right there, I'm sold. I love the name, Cut the Crap Organics. It just, I don't know why, but it made me happy. Anyway, she reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in receiving one of their subscription boxes for February. So Cut the Crap Organics is, as they would suggest, using, for the most part, all natural products. The owner of the company, her name is Krista, and she's the one that does all the formulating, all the making of the soaps and lip balms, and she's got some natural perfumes as well. Cut the Crap Organics is just, you know, the small batch, small business, someone living their dream. She's got mini cows. And basically, she had me at mini cow. Like, as soon as I heard she had mini cows, I was so excited. But anyway, she has this subscription box that you can get. She's got all sorts of products. I'll leave the website linked below. But she has this subscription box. And for those of you that are in the States, it's $14 a month. If you are worldwide, it's $28 a month. And basically, it's just a soap. You get an artisanal soap. So I cut a chunk off, and that's what I love about these soaps is they're nice and soft. And this one is jasmine and rose. Really pleasant smell. It's not overpowering. It smells like, you know, essential oils that you're getting. So it smells a lot more natural, a lot more somehow grounding. I cut a chunk off so that I could actually use the soap. It didn't leave my hands feeling dry. Lathered up nice, felt really creamy as I washed my hands. But what I really loved was the strawberries and cream lip balm. She puts all the ingredients right on the packaging. And so this one's strawberries and cream. And as soon as I smelt it, it reminded me of my childhood. It's that typical strawberries and cream lip balm smell from the 80s. And I love it. It's very, very nourishing on the lips, and it lasted quite a while, and it's got just a light color. Like you can see on the inside here, it's kind of colored it. So it's kind of like a little bit of a tint there. I really enjoyed using the product. It stayed on a long time, really felt nourishing. I'll leave all the info linked below. I really love the fact that it's natural, it's organic, it's small batch, it's small business. Love that. And also you can use the code Maria10 to save 10% off your first box if you're interested. So go check it out. I'll leave all the links down below. And now let's get into this. I just want to say thank you so much for your wonderful, warm response. I love the way that you guys love Middle Eastern fragrances. Val has a huge passion for Middle Eastern, Dua, different things like that, especially Middle Eastern lately. I love the fact that I can invite friends on and you guys are so warm and receptive toward them. I just so appreciate that. So thank you so much for your support in regards to diversifying content and having other women share their fragrances, because personally, I just find that fun. So I have 9 fragrances out of the 25 that I kind of want to talk a little bit more about just after wearing them or thinking about it. Sometimes, you know, when you're smelling fragrances on the spot, it's really hard to actually weigh in fully because you haven't even smelt it on your skin for very long. I'm going to preface everything by saying that I really actually enjoyed all of them except for one, and I'll talk about that in a second. Really, as far as whether they're blind buy safe or anything like that, that's very subjective. I don't really think many fragrances are blind buy safe. Some more than others, I guess. But the one that I want to say that in the end ended up being an absolute huge pass for me was the one that Val left behind for me to try. And that was Sheikhoff Ooze Azrak. So this one was the one that she said kind of smelled like steak sauce or barbecue sauce. It's so crazy because when I smell this on the cap, I get that honey and tobacco, and it smells really yummy. I don't think this smells like honey oud, so I have a sample of honey oud that I've gone through, and I really, really enjoy honey oud. This one has a little bit of a sour note somehow in it. It feels sour. It feels like it kind of goes sour. So maybe it's more animalic, but it doesn't remind me of honey oud. And I think that that's the other thing that I want to mention. When we're talking dupes here, the language is so loose and so subjective on Fragrantica. You'll see something as, oh, it's like that. You know, it is very subjective. It's rare that I actually agree. So I out of smelling all of these, I can say that there's similarities to the fragrances that they're supposedly duping. But the majority of them, some of them more so than others, but the majority of them I actually don't consider massive dupes. Some I consider better than what they're being compared to. But I really, really struggle with just putting it in a category. And the reason why is because if you're a consumer and you're watching this video and going, oh, okay, you know, this is duping that, oh, I'll just buy it. And then you get it home and then you're really disappointed because it doesn't smell anything like that fragrance that you really love, but maybe didn't want to spend $400 on. So as a result, I really want to put that caveat in that when you see that on Fragrantica, when you hear dupe reviews, especially when it comes to Middle Eastern, but really across the board, take it all with a grain of salt. Because, you know, it's what they're perceiving and getting out of it. We all are different in that regard. And honestly, I'm very, very, like I've said before, I'm very critical when it comes to exacting and really paying attention to the nuances of a fragrance. That's why when I did my dossier one, there wasn't, I think, one fragrance that I went, oh, wow, this is an amazing dupe. And I hear that all the time. The fragrances that I've talked about where I've gone, you know, they're close. I hear people saying all the time on Instagram, oh, this is exactly like. So take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. I think that's really important. If you're wanting an exact dupe, likely you're not going to get it. It's very, very rare that you're going to get an exact dupe. You can get something that's close though. So back to Shaykhof Oud Azrak. Val said it reminded her of steak sauce. When I smell it on the cap, I smell the honey. I smell some tobacco-iness. When it goes on the skin, it just goes all wrong for me. This was a massive pass. So once it was on the skin, first of all, it's super strong. It's overpowering. It's slightly prickly somehow. It doesn't feel overly smooth. And I know Val had said it was kind of like a spiced honey cake. I never got that. I wish I got that. But what I got was just something that was loud, slightly abrasive, and it just isn't for me. So this was the massive pass out of all 25. Other than that, they were all really good. Like, I wouldn't complain about any of them. But I'm going to give you my top 9. Like, definitely I've got a top 5, and then there's 4 runners up. So the first runner up is Bright Peach. I love that fragrance. It's definitely one I'm adding to my collection. That's the other thing. These are all fragrances that I plan on adding to my collection in the near future. So Bright Peach, really enjoy it. I don't think it's like Bitter Peach. It's not as nuanced. It's not as deep and interesting. It's more like a peach candy, bright peach candy with a hint of bitterness in there. It's still really fun. I find it cheery, whereas I find Bitter Peach kind of intriguing and a little bit different. Bright Peach just smells like a fun peach candy perfume with a little hint of extra in there. So I think it's an awesome fragrance. I definitely want to get it. Think it would be amazing for spring and summer. Great projection, great longevity. Really, really enjoyed that one. Next runner up is Liam. So that was one of the Gris Charnel dupes. So there was that one, and then the I can't remember the name of it. It'll be on the screen here. Weird name, but there were the two of them. So Liam, to me, out of the two, smelled closest to the actual Gris Charnel. A little bit clean feeling, a little bit bordering on soapy, but not really. It smells to me, I've always said this, Gris Charnel reminds me of smoke that's somehow in a cloche. So a little bit spiced, a little bit tea-like, a little bit soapy, very clean, sophisticated, understated, elegant, love it. Out of the two, Liam was the most like it. The other one I actually really, really liked, but it had more fig in it. So I think I would go for Liam. Plus Liam was a little bit more affordable than the other one. All of them will be linked down below as usual. So Liam was a definite hit for me and will be coming home with me at some point. Actually, a lot of these, they like just disappear like that. So I just keep checking the site. But yeah, they're all the ones that I really wanted were not in stock. Now, Bade'e Al Oud Sublime, that one was the one that is similar to Kayali's Eat and Juicy Apple. It's got a little bit more depth than Eat and Juicy Apple, a little bit more longevity. Really enjoyed that one, but I would say it would be number 9 in all of these. So it would be the bottom of it, not because there's anything wrong with the fragrance, because it was really quite fantastic, but just because I've smelt it before and it's something that I wouldn't reach for all the time. So that would probably be my last choice. But if you love that juicy, appley, happy fragrance, definitely it's a fantastic one. Longevity is excellent. Like when I say excellent, I'd say probably 6 hours. It's not beast mode, although I think that the longer it sits, the stronger it'll be. But it certainly was decent in longevity. Personally, I found Eat and Juicy Apple to last quite a long time. So I didn't find performance was an issue with the original. Again, I don't think that they're exact. I think Eat and Juicy Apple is a little brighter, a little bit more. Sometimes to me, fragrances are more clear. So I find Eat and Juicy Apple by Kayali a little bit clear. I find Sublime to be a little bit more, it's not fuzzy, or it's not like milky or anything like that, but there's just a little bit more going on. I noticed the woodiness or the moss, that kind of stuff a little bit more, but it's still bright, cherry, awesome, and so affordable. So love that one. One of the ones that I wish was in the top 5, but something has to come below, but it's right on par with the rest of them, was Shakeoff Oud Tonka. People have been saying that Shakeoff Oud Tonka is similar to Velvet Tonka. This is one where I would have to disagree. And again, very subjective. So some people might smell it and go, oh, it's just like Velvet Tonka by BDK. I smell them and I smell differences. So with Velvet Tonka by BDK, to me, it's a lot, it's kind of a little bit thicker, a little bit deeper feeling, and not quite as sweet. Whereas Shakeoff Oud Tonka, I'm getting a lot of that almond, and a little bit of a candied feel, whereas I don't really get a candied feel with Velvet Tonka, but I really, really enjoy that candy aspect, and it just smelt so good. So there's that almond candy tonka feel in the fragrance that I just think is really wonderful. It's happy, it's uplifting, it smells really good, like it just smells yummy. So that is one that is on my wish list for sure. It's really hard to find. Like at this point, I can't find it anywhere. Some places it's $100, some places it's 50. So do your research, but it's definitely one that I think is worth having. The red one, I can't remember the name of it, Amar. It was okay to me. It didn't measure up to even some of the other ones, in my opinion, although I know a lot of you really love that red one. So that one is great. Tonka was definitely my pick out of the 3 of those shake-offs. For sure, it's just such a great fragrance. Quite celebratory. It's not too much, so it smells really good, but it doesn't smell like like that. So really liked it, liked the longevity on it. Can't speak to how it projects. It's really hard to do projection and longevity because honestly, it varies from person to person. I really enjoyed it. I loved that almond, that candied almond feel. Velvet Tonka, I get more of that amberwood tonka feel, whereas in Jeulia Oud Tonka, I get more of the almond. I don't notice the almond as much in Velvet Tonka, but I really, really notice it in the Jeulia Oud Tonka. So now for the top 5 out of the 25, starting with Bois de Vanille by Le Bois. A lot of you were wondering if it was similar to Un Bois Vanille by Serge Lutens. Now I have Un Bois Vanille by Serge Lutens, and I find that that one is a lot more, like, first of all, there's a beeswax component in Un Bois Vanille that I very much pick up. The coconut is there, but it's like, it just creates this sweetness with that beeswax. It feels a little bit waxy. It's vanillic. It's a lot sweeter than Bois de Vanille was. So Bois de Vanille was a lot more kind of smooth, rich, a little bit deeper. I prefer Bois de Vanille. I find Un Bois Vanille gets a little bit too thick and cloying for me, whereas Bois de Vanille just stayed smooth. It felt a little bit boozy. The top note is vanilla and sweet. The middle is woody and coconut, and the base notes are powdery notes. So I didn't get a huge amount of powderiness. What I got was kind of slightly, just ever so slightly boozy vanilla, very smooth. And when I think boozy, I think of something like a cognac, like something like that. So not like it works with the vanilla. There's a bit of depth to it. The sweetness is there. It doesn't smell like something like Rich, Warm, Addictive that's uber sweet. This had a little bit more, I don't know, the sweetness was there, but it wasn't too much. Just like when you smell vanilla out of a vanilla thing, it's not necessarily overly sweet feeling. So I loved Un Bois Vanille. Now, as it dried on the skin, it was the one that sat probably the closest to the skin. Very nice, very cozy, very sensual, slightly elegant vanilla. So I really liked it. I didn't love it, I don't think, but I really, really liked it. I loved it to begin with, but as it dried down, it was probably the least favorite out of my 5. Now, the next is Amir Identity Crescent. This one was one of the top. Like, it was so spectacular. So I can't weigh in as far as how similar it is to Frederic Mall's Moon. Crescent Moon, I think that's what it's called, or something like that. If you've smelled that one, weigh in and tell me what it's like and compared to this one. But it had raspberry, lychee, and saffron in the opening. The middle had Turkish rose, olibanum, red berries, red currant, and violet. The base has oud, leather patchouli, amber, and sandalwood. What it reminded me of is a richer, more luxe version of Haute Couture. So Haute Couture, I get raspberries, I get a bit of cigarettes. It's sweet. There's the rose in Haute Couture. And like I've said before, Haute Couture reminds me of Cruella de Vil, where she's like, "Let me see the puppies, darling." So just kind of a little bit scratchy, but sexy somehow, but really in your face. I've lost my voice completely. Amir Identity Crescent. Rose is amped up. It's a lot more sophisticated, but I still get that like cigarette vibe. I loved it. So it was just really sexy. The raspberry stayed present the whole entire time, whereas I find with Haute Couture, it starts to kind of mellow out. The raspberry was nice and strong. To me, it was an even richer version. So it would be like Cruella de Vil's mom, who owns the whole entire empire and just kind of lets her crazy daughter wreak havoc. She is the mogul behind the madness. She, like, daughter is mad, she's the mogul. So she's quite elegant, she's sophisticated, she doesn't approve of her kid. She kind of looks the same. So yeah, to me, Identity Oud Crescent, definitely a more opulent version but very, very similar to me to something like a haute couture. So, and I'm talking the EDP. So if you loved haute couture and you're just sick of spending the price on it, this is a really good option. It's not the same. It's a lot more in your face. The oud is definitely present. It's definitely more unisex version, but that raspberry rose wood combination that has a little bit of cigarettes, to me, that's this fragrance, and I love it. Like, I couldn't get enough of smelling that one, and it lasted so long on my skin. Out of all of them, I would say that was the longest lasting. Like, I'm talking at least 8 hours, so really great. Now, I would say that Cacao was my absolute favorite. It just, like, in the end, I'm smelling all the fragrances, and I was like, what did I put on my hand here? And so I just kept on smelling my hand, and I'm like, that is so amazing. And it didn't smell like when I first put it on. And so I actually went back and looked at the raw footage to find out what I had put on my hand here, and it was Cacao. I love that one. It just slowly melds into this really creamy cacao, slightly citrus fragrance. So it has mandarin, cacao, cashmere wood, ambra, chocolate, jasmine, cardamom, orchid, oud, patchouli, and musk. I definitely get that hint of citrus with the cacao. It reminds me of Hugo Boss The Scent Private Accord, but it's less chocolatey. I have no words for that one. It's just a stunningly beautiful cacao fragrance. Really warm. It's sophisticated. It's not too chocolatey, and it's not bam in your face citrus, but the citrus and the cacao kind of just stay present for a long, long time. Now, as far as projection, not quite sure, but I don't care. I have to have this one. I keep looking daily. I put my email in, but I'm like, I just want it now. So I keep looking for that one. As soon as that one comes available, I'm actually going to go ahead and pick that one up because it is so beautiful. I just love it. I love Hugo Boss Scent Private Accord. I just wish the longevity was better. On this one, I get that, but it's not too chocolatey. Straight up chocolate fragrances, I've got to really be in the mood. This one is a fragrance that I would wear a lot. One that I actually purchased as soon as Val left was Niche Royal Vert. So that one, it's supposed to be similar to Vert Malachite by the Armani Privé line. Now, interestingly, as I looked for the notes, and some of these aren't actually found on Fragrantica, so you've got to do a bit of research. It has really weird notes that I don't think represent the fragrance at all. On several different places, I found the notes, and the notes are always the same, and it's Bulgarian rose, benzoin, Turkish rose, violet, oud, and vanilla. This makes no sense to me at all. You don't notice any oud. There's no rose, there's no rose. To me, it smells like white and yellow florals. So it smells like ylang ylang. It smells like orange blossom. It smells like there might even be a little bit of jasmine in there. Definitely smells some vanilla, and I get a little hint of something green in it. It smells quite candy-esque in the florals. So kind of like that bubblegum tuberose feel. You're getting a bit of that feel, but it's not grapey or anything like that. So the notes for Vert Malachite are bitter orange, petitgrain, jasmine sambac, ylang ylang, pink pepper, lily, vanilla, and benzoin. And to me, this is basically what I'm smelling. So you get that white and yellow floral. Yeah, it says that it's jasmine, so it's not even tuberose, but it smells kind of like the candied version of florals. So a little bit of that bubblegum candy-esque vibe is what I get in Niche Royal Vert. This one would be what I would consider the least blind buy safe out of all the ones that I'm talking about right now. It's definitely that yellow floral is present. So for some, I can see you finding it smelling a little too mature. Personally, I think it's kind of a modern take on those mature put together fragrances. I love it. Now, what's crazy is I had all these fragrances on me and I kept on smelling something that I absolutely loved. I thought it was Niche Royal Vert. So I went ahead and purchased that one immediately. When I put it on the skin, it's not what I think I was smelling. So whatever I kept on getting a whiff of, it's one of the ones that I put on my skin while Val was here. I don't think it was that one, but Niche Royal Vert, the longevity is amazing, like 6 to 8 hours. Projection is fantastic. And it's a very classy, sophisticated fragrance. If you like those more classy, sophisticated white florals, this one I'm sure would be for you. If you liked things like L'Interdit, My Way even potentially, although this is, I'd say this Vert is a little bit more mature than something like a My Way. But if you like those kind of fragrances, likely you would like this one. If you like yellow florals, I think you would like this one. I think it's beautiful, but it certainly wouldn't be one that I would wear every day because I think you could easily kind of get sick of it, and you have to go light on the sprays with that one. And one of my absolute favorites, again, I'd say Identity Crescent is my absolute favorite. I really love the Niche Royal Vert. Actually, I love them all. But anyway, is Care Pistachio. That one is such a great fragrance. Now, Yum Pistachio, to me, the longevity wasn't great, and I found it to be like there's a soapy quality that I notice in that one. It's really nice. Like I don't, it's not like I don't like it, but I didn't like it enough to pull the plug on it. So it's nice, but it certainly wasn't my favorite scent profile. The Care Pistachio is delicious. So it has a little bit more amped up sweetness, a little bit more pistachio present, a little bit more creaminess, and I'm absolutely sold on it. Like I've been waiting. Like the two next ones that I want to get are Cacao and Care Pistachio and Identity Oud Crescent. I love that one, but definitely Cacao and Care Pistachio. Those are the ones that I'm like just chomping at the bit to get. So Care Pistachio, it has Italian bergamot, pistachio gelato, hazelnut, sweet rum, cardamom, geranium, white peony, muguet, jasmine, raspberry, white peach, pear, whipped cream, marshmallow, cotton candy, Turkish delight accord, cacao, cedarwood, sandalwood, and tonka. So amazing notes there. And it to me, it's a sweeter, denser, richer version. It's a richer version, all right. It's a richer version of Yum Pistachio. And it was what I hoped Yum Pistachio would be. So you still get that bergamot freshness in the opening, which kind of balances the rest of it. I don't get a soapy feeling with Care Pistachio, whereas I do get a bit of a soapy feeling from Yum Pistachio. So everybody's different in what they pick up. You can let me know what you think. The longevity on it was fantastic, like 6 to 8 hours again. And I think that the projection is pretty good with that one as well. So those are the ones that really caught my fancy that I'm like just chomping at the bit to get. Like I said, all of them were great except for this one. This one was a huge pass for me. Some I like better than others. These are definitely my top picks out of the whole 25. What about you? What are the ones that are exciting you and you're really super interested in? Leave them in the comments. And if you've had a different experience than I have as far as whether they're super dupey or not, leave it in the comments and let me know what you think. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week and we'll talk to you soon.